This is Scramble, a show about which is the best tank in a 15v15 and a 1v1 format. Today, we're going to compare the Manticore and the AMX 13105. Which of these smallest tier 10 tanks is the strongest? Watch to find out. We'll also find out which light tank in Steel Hunter is the best. Is it going to be the Alrequin or the Bái Láng? But that'll come later. And now let's get to round 1. We decided to have ourselves a light tanks duel on Prokhorovka. Here's when all the characteristics that a light tank needs, view range, concealment, maneuverability, and comfort of shooting, will come in handy for our gladiators. The AMX won't be able to dominate with its auto-reloading gun. Meanwhile, the Manticore has chances to use a combination of view range and concealment on the map. One of the Manticores boldly rolls to the center, trying to spot the French guys in the bushes. It gets a hit, but discovers the shooting opponents. And one of the AMXs blows up right away. And another Manticore immediately moves forward along the green line. It sacrifices itself to spot the AMXs, but it doesn't work. The score is equal for now. No one wants to give up. Everyone wants to raise their gun up at the end of the battle, not be a sad black wreck. And this is like a battle between a whale and a hippo. Two different but equally cool opponents. Or not so equally after all. Let's see. Just look at what's going on in the pit. It's like a mud fight, but without the mud. The AMX has tried to prove that that was their home turf, but the Manticores prevailed. The Brits may have won the local fight, but they haven't won the entire battle. The Manticores may be outnumbered, but they've managed to attack. And they have an advantage in the positions. On the alley, the British light tanks push the French tanks to the map corner. They sacrifice themselves and take out one enemy after another. But the AMXs are fighting back fiercely. They still have more hit points than the Brits. Or not. The AMX on the alley rolled back into the garage, licking its wounds. The remaining opponents make it a 2v2. Who's going to win? The maneuverability and the auto-reloader or view range and concealment? The AMXs tries to spot the enemy but only gets hit in return. It seems that this shot has decided the outcome of the battle. Nope, it was definitely decided by this shot in the battle, which was the last one for the AMXs. This last one is trying to retreat to the last line of defense. If it can make it, and no, it can't. The Manticores win round 1, 1-0. Round 2. Now the second round will take place on the same map. For the purity of the experiment, we took the same Prokhorovka, the same tanks, the same players, but we swapped them. So the AMX team switched to the Manticores and vice versa. The vehicles also switched spawns. The second match is played on the same map, but the battle unfolds completely differently from the get-go. The Manticores are playing as usual, but the AMXs just roll forward, auto-loading guns blazing boldly. And that worked! The heavy fire from the autoloaders helped the French tanks take out several Manticores and claim the advantage. It's all clear here. The Manticores are better when they keep their distance and hide amid the bushes and terrain, but in maneuverable close combat, the 15 French musketeers stand one for all and all for one. It's 1v1, ladies and gentlemen. The intrigue remains and the stakes have grown higher. Steel Hunter. But before the deciding round, let's take a short break for Steel Hunter. Today we'll find out which light tank in this mode is the best for this mode. It's between the loved by everyone Alrequin or the fresh-faced Bái Láng. Round 1 takes place in tier 1 tanks in their initial positions, without abilities but with 1 recovery. We'll show this battle briefly so we can move on to the main course. So in the first duel, the Alrequin miraculously survives the Bái Láng shot and wins. A happy accident, 1-0. Duel 2. Now let's check our steel light tanks when their mobility gets upgraded to the max. With all their abilities and auto-loading guns, the Alrequin has an anti-tank machine gun, the Bái Láng is equipped with an interesting auto-reloader for 4 double shots with a short interval. 2 for the price of 1. Sounds cool, but you really need to get used to it. It's hard to fire from at such an agile target like the Alrequin. At the same time, the French anti-tank machine gun worked perfectly, and as you can see, just like a Tommy gun. Bái Láng fired his acid shell, but the Alrequin quickly uses the repair kit and doesn't lose much hit points. Fireball coming up, the explosive ball that almost falls on the target of the Chinese. Bái Láng runs away, dropping its toy tank in return. Will it be able to escape and get repaired? Freeze! You're under arrest for exceeding the number of winners in this battle. There can only be one winner. So it's 2-0. Let's have a look at this final round. Duel 3. The final clash between the 13105 and the Manticore is close. This is the last round in Steel Hunter. Our heroes upgraded their survivability and are armed with howitzer guns. The Bái Láng has a cyclic with high damage per shot, while the Alrequin is armed with a 3-shell auto-reloading gun with enormous total damage. That is, of course, if you hit and penetrate all three. This time, the zone itself hurries our fighters. It's already close and the Alrequin attacks, while the Bái Láng retreats and drops its battlefield robot. The Alrequin is firing at the enemy pet. It wants to gain an advantage with the help of a fireball. But the Bái Láng has a different idea. It suddenly jumps out at the Alrequin side and causes 850 hit points of damage. Additionally, this is an acid shell, and the French tank's repair kit is currently reloading since it fixed its track before. The Alrequin deploys the fireball in a panic mode and tries to shoot back. But it has to fire at the enemy front. The spaced armor of the durable version of the Bái Láng withstood every single hit. A decisive victory for the Chinese tank and its commander, but only in this round the score is 2-1 in favor of the French. It should be noted that the victories and defeats were a combination of luck, mistakes by the enemy, and the effect of the tank's novelty. It seems that the Bái Láng is no better and no worse than the Alrequin. It's just a bit different. Round 4. And a 1v1 round. 3 tanks from each team roll out into the arena in turn and fight in the elimination shootout. The next tank joins the fight right after the eliminated one. And that goes on until the last hero standing remains. Who will it be? Make your bets now, cause we don't know. It seems the tanker in the Manticore does know how. They fixed their hair, took one last selfie and charged at the enemy at full speed. The AMX not expecting such insolence to the extent that they missed at point-blank range. Its fate is now decided. The British light tank tails after the French one, it's turned on its lights, sirens, and it's not going to let its prey go. The AMX is trying to escape, but the Manticore's HE shells are faster. Unfortunately, they're not your HES shells. They only have 60mm of penetration. But it's enough. The second AMX rolls out to replace the first one, and it's hell-bent on proving how wrong the Manticore was. It already has 3 arguments prepared. Well, the first one wasn't very convincing. Try again, AMX. Alas, that's a miss. Maybe you'll get it with the third one. Gotcha! Now, the French urgently needs to reload while the Brit has a chance to catch up and try and fire at least one more before the AMX has its clip ready. Ow, 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 the HE shell let the Manticore down. Although the AMX withstood the hit, the fragments scratched its paint. The French commander couldn't forgive that. Do you know how much it costs to repaint a tank in a tank body shop in Paris-en-Marseille? A lot. And it'll cost much more to gather tank parts around all of Lakeville after the second Manticore crushes it. If it catches up with it, of course. Now that's a twist. The agility allowed the one-shot AMX to survive and load a new clip. Of course, it's still heading to the garage, but with its gun proudly held high, having chopped off a few more enemy hit points. It will eternally feast with the heroes in the garage, and the Valkyries will comfort it with croissants. Well, the Manticore is in a disadvantaged situation now, but there are some chances. Just one miss by the AMX can negate all of the feats of its predecessor. Let's see how it plays out. The Manticore repeats the move of the first Brit and outcircles the opponent with high speed. But the problem is that it tries to outmaneuver a light tank with an autoloader, not a Jagdpanzer E100. The AMX wins this duel. Having lost only a third of its hit points, the Manticore team has the last tank. Let's see if they can turn this round to their advantage. Alas, the British light tank can't catch up with the agile French. The Manticore is designed for passive scouting. In its close combat, it's well, you can see for yourself. Press F to pay respects to the Manticore crew. Hit the like button under this video and leave a comment if you like this arena. Maybe we'll use new locations for duels in each new episode. It depends on your opinion as well. Suggest tanks for the new episode too, and we'll see you soon, Commander. Over and out.